This story begins in silence, in a place where metal is bought, sold, and forgotten. Nothing looks unusual, nothing sounds dangerous, yet something invisible has already begun to spread. What happens when danger has no smell, no sound, and no warning? In April 2010, in the Mayapuri industrial area of Delhi, radioactive material entered the open scrap market. It was not labeled. It was not expected, and it was not handled as radioactive. The object was small, but its impact was serious. This story matters today because cities everywhere recycle old machines. When disposal fails, ordinary people pay the price. The story begins years earlier. An industrial machine containing cobalt-60 was no longer in use. According to reports, it was meant to be dismantled safely. But in early April 2010, parts from this machine were sold as scrap. The metal reached Mayapuri. Workers handled it like any other metal. They cut it. They touched it. They had no reason to suspect danger. Days later, some workers began feeling unwell. Skin injuries appeared. The cause was unclear. On April 7th, hospitals in Delhi reported unusual symptoms. Doctors suspected radiation exposure. The next day, radiation safety teams arrived. Instruments confirmed cobalt-60. The area was sealed. Scrap shops were closed. People were evacuated. The radioactive material was secured. Decontamination began. The immediate danger was contained, but the damage had already been done. The first evidence came from hospitals. Doctors recorded injuries consistent with radiation exposure. These reports triggered official alerts. The second confirmation came from radiation detectors. High readings were found in specific scrap shops. The source matched cobalt-60. The third piece of evidence traced the origin. Records pointed to an old industrial irradiator meant for controlled disposal. Finally, India's nuclear regulator reviewed the incident. They confirmed failures in handling and monitoring. Each piece matched the same conclusion. Radioactive material entered an open market. Different explanations were presented. Some reports pointed to human error. Others cited weak enforcement of disposal rules. Officials used careful language. Responsibility was discussed, but not clearly fixed. What remains unclear is how many similar risks exist elsewhere. The incident exposed the system under pressure, but full data was limited. For the workers, the impact was immediate. Several people suffered radiation injuries. One person later died due to complications. Families waited in hospital corridors, trying to understand an invisible threat. Scrap work is fast and physical. Metal is handled without question. There were no warning signs, no training for this situation. One worker later described holding the metal, feeling heat without knowing why. It was an ordinary workday until it wasn't. Experts describe cobalt-60 simply. It is like a powerful light you cannot see. The closer you are, the stronger it becomes. Without shielding, it can harm the body quickly. Rules exist to prevent this, but rules only work if followed at the final step. This case matters beyond one city. Many countries use radioactive sources. As machines age, safe disposal becomes critical. Safety is shared across institutions, markets, and borders. What we know is clear. Radioactive material entered a public space and caused real harm. What we don't fully know is how many similar risks remain hidden. The final act is about prevention. What's next? Scenarios. One likely outcome is stricter tracking of radioactive sources, digital records, and regular audits. Confidence high. Another possible step is training scrap workers to recognize unusual materials. Confidence medium. International coordination on old industrial equipment is possible but slow. Confidence low. Prevention takes time, but awareness is the first step. The Mayapuri incident reminds us that modern dangers are often silent. Safety is not only technology. It is attention. It is memory. It is care at every step. If you want to understand how radioactive sources are tracked from use to disposal, watch our next documentary. Sources include public hospital records, official regulator reports, and verified news coverage from April 2010.